will not say sorry. I will not apologize.
Yeah, so I decided to go for a walk and I ran out of sidewalk. I am out here looking around in the middle of East Bubblefuck, in the middle of I'm about to get Raging Kills. Just in case you happen to be tuning in, let me at least give you my segment for the day. I understand what it feels like to feel lonely. I do. I understand what it feels like to be in a room full of people and still feel completely alone. Like there's nobody in that single room that talks to you, that can identify with whatever it is that you're going through, and it can be very isolating. I have a story for you. I broke my foot in August. The doctor was very specific. He says you have a very peculiar break. Now, if you don't stay off your foot for the next 6 weeks, you will never walk the same again. I said, all right, I will be off my feet. 6 weeks went by. Total isolation. I was going insane. I was crying all the time. I was feeling sorry for myself. I broke my foot. Reality had set in. I'm not invincible anymore. And having all these people in the house, you would think that would be like, okay, let's support mom. Let's get mom. Let's do mom. Like, let's make sure mom is good. No, that's not the reality of the world. That's not how we live. No, everybody is going to look out for themselves. Because when you train your children to be self-sufficient, don't break your foot. Don't break your foot, because they're so good with being able to take care of themselves now that you kind of get lost in the house somewhere. You may get a face to poke in. Hey mom, you good? Need anything? Nope. All right, I'm out. Deuces. Then you don't see that person for the rest of the day. But it was through those moments of isolation that I learned the greatest lessons about myself and about the ability to be able to take your mind outside of your current situation, open up your imagination, and just dream. That's all you gotta do. Just dream. Doesn't matter how crazy it sounds. It doesn't matter how ludicrous you might feel if you were to tell another living soul. It's not for anybody else. It's for you. Because during this time, people are literally, they're scared. And what happens when people are in a feared state? When people are in a feared state, they don't think clearly, they don't make rational and smart decisions. They are literally basing everything on fear right now. So when you literally base your life off of fear, you become very isolated. I know this because I went through this. You become very isolated. The trick is to embrace what you have during a time that you don't have anything. Broke my foot, no job, no money. I had to literally depend on my immediate surroundings and the people that, are supposed to be there to support me. I had to depend on them. That was not an easy thing for me to have to do as an adult woman. I felt very lonely, very isolated. Like I said, in that moment, or in those moments, or even in those months, I was able to find such a level of peace because I have a goal. I have a task at hand. I have a business to run. When you have a business to run, you can't stay in a lonely state for long. You just can't. You can pout. You're allowed to have your moment to window shop. This is what I call it. I call it window shopping because I went through this the other day. Window shopping your emotions basically means when you have control over your emotions and you can identify each of them as you go through whatever situation you're going through. And if you feel so overwhelmed by that emotion, I say go ahead and have it. Take it. If you're angry, be angry. If you're sad, be sad. If you're happy, be happy. But if it is a negative habit or a negative emotion, you cannot stay in it for long. You window shop. You stand there, you look at the emotion, you go, to the emotion, you look at the price tag of the emotion, and then you move on. The reason why that works so well is because everybody loves to window shop. Everybody knows it takes 30 seconds to a minute before you move on to the next display, because when you're out window shopping, you're just getting caught up in the moment and then you're moving on. You got to treat your emotions the exact same way. You got to window shop your emotions so that when situations like this come to pass, you will be able to say, nope, I'm feeling bad today. I was in that, I window shopped there yesterday, can't window shop there today. No, then you get creative. Then you start thinking about what you can do to better you. And I know it's a cliche, everybody says it, but you know what? It's no reinvention of the wheel out here, people. Find something that's gonna better you. It doesn't matter what it is. You're stuck in the house, come up with a hobby. You guys, there has to be something in your past that has made you so happy, even if it was just for a moment and didn't have anything to do with any individual. But there has to be something in your life that made you so internally happy that you would want to go back to that. You know, fitness for me, that makes me internally happy. It just does. Peace of mind makes me internally happy. Being able to exercise because I have peace of mind is a very important step for me to have to make in my life, because before I was able to have control over my emotions, I couldn't work out. I couldn't get up, couldn't make myself, do what I'm doing now. Get up and go for a 30-minute walk. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? So you know what? Today, I said, you know what? What am I waiting for? Get my ass up and go for a walk. It's a beautiful day. I'm worth 30 minutes. I'm worth it. So I got up, and despite everybody in the house right now playing trouble, I'm out here. I am enjoying the peace and the quiet of my own peace of mind. Sometimes you got to go out the house to get that. But as far as isolation goes and loneliness goes, it's a very sad thing that the rate of loneliness is going up. Last year, it was documented that about 60% of the American people felt loneliness. And God knows it's probably tripled by now with the pandemic. But you don't have to be lonely in your mind because you might be stuck in this house. You got to find something to do. My daughter, she's doing puzzles. I said, do one better. Go to Michael's Online. Get a picture frame and glue it. Anything to keep your mind from going into a dark place. Because let me tell you something. And even though I'm a personal trainer, I did not know this. Loneliness causes, as we all know, depression. It can cause strokes. It causes chronic heart failure. Oh, I could go on and on. But it had me at heart failure. And I can imagine what happens if you are socially isolating because of this thing that's going on. It adds to forgetfulness and to increased substance abuse. Yeah, I can see that. Feeling lonely because you don't have a man around or you don't have a lot of friends around. God has a plan for everybody. We all know this, but you got to be able to put the work in too. If you feel that you have something that's keeping you from being able to become that social butterfly, let me help you find what it is. If you feel like you can't be the person that you want to be because you have so much fear that you're going to be stigmatized or criticized, listen, no criticism or judgments on my end. I'm out here to help you get to the best you. That's it. You got to put the work in. It's not going to come to you. And as far as this isolation thing goes, you have a brain, creative mind. You can think about anything. I'm a writer, so I create things in my mind every time I open my mouth. My kids will tell you that I am a storyteller. I have to be. It's fun. It's so much fun. I use my mind. I use what I watch. I create scenarios, you know, fun things. I make the kids come up with different scenarios just to keep their mind stimulated. That's all. You kind of have to look at isolation the way inmates have to look at jail. They have nowhere to go. They have a very small cell and a lot of energy surrounding them. And if they're not careful on how they deal with their situation, I could see how people would become violent, you know, socially and apt to be reintroduced into civilization because they've been institutionalized for so many years. But then you have the ones that have been in for years and come out and are scholars, philosophers. Why? Because they took advantage of the system that was there for them. They stayed busy. They kept their mind going. You've got to take your mind out of here and into some place for you. Doesn't matter. Be a mermaid. You know, my kids, we all love mermaids. I mean, it's a fun fairy tale. Why not? You know, or be a superhero. Create a scenario where you have to either be the daring detective that, you know, saves the damsel in distress, or you happen to be a supermom by day and superhero by night. Doesn't matter. Just get creative with your mind. Get pen and paper. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Guarantee you one thing. When the whole thing is all said and done, you're going to have some really great reading material. You might even have a book out of it. Who knows? You never know what could come out of this pandemic. But it doesn't have to be depression. It doesn't have to be sadness. It doesn't have to be what it is supposed to be, what the government wants it to be. It doesn't have to be that way for you. But you have to be the one to make the decision that you're choosing to try and be happy. Believe it or not, you can be. And I can show you how. Anyway, thanks for joining me on my walk, guys. This is Carla Alexander. Never too late to recreate. I'll talk to you later.